The different parts of the Airbus are transported in this cargo plane called the Beluga. But think about it. When it comes to the world's largest passenger plane, the Airbus A380, its giant parts cannot be transported by just any airplane, because so far no cargo plane has been built that can fit this palace-like aircraft inside it. So how are the parts of the 380 made all across Europe brought to Airbus's assembly unit? Welcome once again to Scope History Videos. Viewers, Airbus is a European aircraft manufacturing company that delivers 1,000 planes every year to airlines around the world. If we calculate it, that means 3 new planes are made per day. More or less, Airbus has to produce 3 new planes daily, which is an incredible challenge. How these planes are finally built is a different story, but how their various parts, which are made all across Europe, are brought to the city of Toulouse in France, where Airbus's main assembly unit is. This is done by Airbus's logistics system, which combines sea, river, land, and air, and is known as the world's most complex transport network. Across this, the parts are made in different countries in Europe, and then they come together at one place to form a large, beautiful plane. This is no ordinary task, but the result of unparalleled engineering and decades of logistics planning. In the era of the 1960s, big countries in Europe, such as France, Germany, Spain, and the UK, together dreamed a new dream. To compete with the American aircraft manufacturer Boeing, their goal was to form an alliance that could produce large commercial airplanes. However, the biggest issue with this partnership was that Airbus's 11 production sites were spread across different countries in Europe. Each site had its own special expertise, and each place produced a specific section. For example, in Hamburg, Germany, the tail sections are made. In Saint-Nazaire, France, the central compartment and nose section. In the city of Breton, England, the wings. While in Cadiz, Spain, there is a factory for the tail. Once the various parts of the plane are made in all these factories, a new challenge begins, because these football field-sized parts are sent to the city of Toulouse in France, where Airbus's assembly unit is. In the beginning, when the demand for Airbus planes was low, they used trucks and ships. This was a slow process, and the delivery of parts took months. But when demand grew, this months-long wait became a barrier to the company's growth, especially when they had to produce 3 planes daily. To solve this problem, Airbus found a new and brilliant solution. In the Arctic Ocean, there is a whale whose sound echoes like a song. This whale is called the beluga whale. In 1994, inspired by this whale, Airbus created a new plane and named it the Beluga. The purpose of this plane was solely to transport large and heavy aircraft parts. The Beluga has that special capability, which is not found in a common cargo plane. When we talk about its size and capacity, the Beluga is 56 meters or 184 feet long, longer than the full length of an Olympic swimming pool. Its height is 17 meters or 56 feet, making it as tall as a 7-story building. Its internal cargo space is so large that 182 Suzuki Altos can easily fit inside. Speaking of the loading system, its most special feature is its nose section, which lifts up like a car bonnet. This makes the loading and unloading of aircraft parts very easy. A pair of wings from an Airbus A380, which are 32 meters long, can easily fit in the Beluga's fuselage. This pair of wings costs 40 million euros, which is about 4 billion rupees. Therefore, even a small amount of damage during loading can cause losses of millions. For this reason, extreme care is taken at every step to protect it. When it comes to speed, the parts that used to take months by ships or trucks to reach Toulouse, now the Beluga delivers in just 2 hours from one European site to another. This speed ensures that there is no interruption in Airbus's assembly line. After this success in 2014, Airbus also created an improved version of the Beluga, named the Beluga XL. This could carry even more parts and larger components. Up until now, everything was going well. But then in 2014, the world's largest passenger plane, the Airbus A380, was launched. Its fuselage is 8.4 meters tall, and the width of the wings near the fuselage reaches 16 meters. The problem was that the Beluga XL, whose cargo compartment height is 7.5 meters, could neither fit the fuselage of the A380 nor its wings. And here let us also tell you that the fuselage, which is cylindrical, is easier to make in separate sections and join, while the wings are made in one piece, because they also contain the fuel tank and hydraulic lines. The most stress is placed on the wings, which is why they are not made in one piece, so that no structural weakness occurs or fuel tank leakage occurs. To send the components of this new A380 from different parts of Europe to Toulouse, Airbus initially considered making a Beluga XXL, but here there were many issues. First, they would have to redesign the Beluga and also increase the engine capacity, which would cost billions of euros. Meanwhile, the Airbus A380 is so large that not every airline can operate it, which resulted in its demand being quite low, so to transport some aircraft, Airbus dropped the idea of the Beluga XXL. Now Airbus had to find a new method. This is where the story of the super convoy begins, which passes through land, river, and sea. Airbus specially built roll-on roll-off ships, so that large and heavy parts could be transported easily. In this, the parts are driven on and off using a ramp, which is why they are called roll-on roll-off ships, or Ro-Ro ships. One such ship is called the City of Hamburg, which is 126 meters long and 20 meters wide, and its cargo space is 5 times that of the Beluga XL from the Hamburg port in Germany. Large sections of Airbus go directly inside the ship, on rolling platforms, so cranes are not needed. This ship travels 1,600 kilometers from Hamburg in Germany to the port of Saint-Nazaire in France. This journey is not easy, because in the North Sea, storms and waves up to 5 meters high are very common. And just imagine, if due to the movement at sea, the 4 billion rupee wings get even the slightest damage, the company would have to remake the entire wing. Therefore, the ship's captain and crew check the cargo chains every 4 hours, and a camera monitors the cargo 24/7 so that no damage risk remains. Upon reaching the port of Saint-Nazaire in France, there's a stopover, and then the parts are unloaded and placed onto specially designed barges. These barges carry the parts along the Garonne River to the French city of Bordeaux. And this is where the biggest challenge comes, because on the Garonne River there is the Pont-de-Pierre Bridge, whose arches are quite small. This 500-meter bridge was built in 1810, and its arches are not exactly the same size. Among them, arch number 5 is 19 meters wide, where the barges can pass through. But on both sides, there is just a few inches of gap. The issue was resolved. But the height of the arches depends on the water level. This section of the Garonne River is indeed 60 kilometers away from the Atlantic Ocean, but its water level still depends on the ocean tide. Under normal conditions, the water level here is high, and the barges cannot pass through these arches, but every 12 hours. The captain has just a 3-minute window of opportunity. When the tide drops, if they miss this opportunity, the entire convoy will stop for 12 hours, and Airbus's entire schedule will be delayed. To solve this problem, adjustable platforms were installed on the barges, so that they could pass through the arches even during low tide. This was a small part of the logistics, but it was extremely important. Up until now, you have learned about the sea and river journey. Now let us go to the land journey, because from Bordeaux to Toulouse, it is still 250 kilometers away. This journey begins with a 50-meter-long super truck. Each truck has a 600 horsepower engine and 96 wheels. The Airbus parts are transported to the assembly unit in Toulouse on these super trucks. But this task is not without its challenges. Because road traffic is low, the entire convoy is driven only at night. At night, the highways and city roads are closed. A team of 40 people accompanies this convoy, including police escort cars and engineers. The most challenging part of this convoy is passing through roundabouts and narrow corners in small towns. A wing hanging 15 meters behind the truck is just a few centimeters away from lampposts, trees, and rooftops. Finally, when these parts reach the assembly unit in Toulouse, they are assembled within a few hours. Thanks to high-tech systems, more than 19,000 rivets are used to join the fuselage of the A380, and over 4,000 rivets attach the wings to the fuselage, after engines, electronics, interiors, and paint. The plane is now fully ready for delivery. An A380 takes about 9 months to complete. Its various parts made, transported, and assembled. To date, only 251 units of the Airbus A380 have been made, because operating it is not something every airline can manage. Surprisingly, 50% of these units are owned by Emirates Airline alone. This aircraft can carry 850 passengers at once. Its takeoff weight is about 575,000 kilograms, which is as much as the combined weight of 300 SUVs. In terms of cost, one A380 is $445 million, which is about 3,800 crore rupees. For this price, you could buy 5 aircraft like the Boeing 737 next time you travel on an Airbus. You will surely know how this plane was made with such passion and dedication through teamwork, and how it was transported defying all odds. I hope you will like and share this video from Scope History. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.